melody of violin, poetic rhyme, sounds of the bandura and guitar. This is about eternal values: love, death, war, and life. This is not a concert and not a play. This is rather a philosophy of the soul and a flight of creative imagination in contemporary music and the poetic performance titled Idealism. Why was this performance given the name Idealism? Because it is something incorporeal. Half the musical compositions formed today will be an improvisation. The main source of feeling is inspiration. Now they have united their efforts and succeeded in creating such a soulful performance. Nowadays, a performance is a full-fledged art form, and usual relations between people have become the basis of modern creative experiments. Such performances generate a lively response of the audience. The founder of the Epitage Theatre, titled Duki Theater, enlarges its repertoire with a typical theatrical production. The musical poetic performance Idealism, represented on the schedule of Duki Theater, is a new round of creative research. The Idealism concert performance is a so-called egoistic attempt of Duki Theater to do something pleasant for itself. I have been observing the creative work of the girls for several years now. They are very attractive, very active, and very sincere. So I wanted to create something that would combine several genres. Today we have a team which succeeded in embodying this very idea. We can't say that this is only a concert because we convey a so-called emotional message to people. Verses by Anastasia Milievska and my song texts carry a deep message. We create music and verses to express very serious feelings and share them with the theater audience, rather than for the sake of entertainment. About 5 years ago, I performed in Kiev. Then I needed a person who would accompany me to the keyboards. I was introduced to Olena Rebrik, who played the keyboards and sang. I can honestly describe our meeting as love at first sight. It must be said that lots of stage directors and actors gather at Duki Theater. They experiment and stage avant-garde performances, but today they have combined playing various musical instruments and composing electronic music and philosophical verses for the very first time. Olena Rebrik selected all the guys who took part in the performance. She was the creative manager of the project. Today she gathers talented people in this theater and gets them all fired up for a live performance. Improvisation lies at the root of the Idealism live show. All the participants are professionals and each one is highly experienced in his or her genre. But theater workers say that successful improvisation is the result of good rehearsal. They need rehearsal because musicians learn to agree with each other. There are certain music signals. For example, Elena gives a signal to Anna to play on the violin louder or calmer. They improvise and it is very interesting. So neither should agree on professional arrangements. They simply repeat musical compositions, and I think that each of them will show his or her skills during the live concert.
Мы очень благодарны, что вы здесь. Мы хотели вас видеть. И мы очень надеемся, что вы сегодня для себя пронаблюдаете что-то важное для вас самих.
Meaning and plot are more important for participants of the performance than format, so they pay considerable attention in particular to text. This includes Anastasia Milievska's poetry that is filled with deep meaning and music by Olena Rebrik. The verses are read under the accompaniment of a violoncello, violin, guitar, and bandura. This is our first experiment. We never used so many musical instruments and never involved so many musicians. Intuition is exactly what helps me create music and understand myself better. Now I'm thinking what inspired me to compose it. It is something very difficult and even terrifying. It is very difficult to live in this world, and life is sometimes hell. But despite this, there is music, art, beauty, and love. And there are the dearest people who are always by your side. Elena Rebrik is a self-educated composer. She improvises very often. She created music intuitively, so to create such performances, she couldn't do it without the help of musician friends. Yuri Kulinich is an actor by profession, but today he plays guitar, and Serhiy Protenko, a renowned member of the Shpilastik Obzori band, accompanies them on the bandura. It is a unique performance and it gives unique feelings, so I hope that our spectators today will also be lulled into a similar state of complacency as I am. Anna Hlukenka is a violoncellist, violin player and theater actress. She joined the group not long ago. Presentation of her creative tandem with Elena Rebrik, manager of the project, was at the premiere of the musical poetic performance. Everything started with a letter one of my friends wrote to me. He wrote that this composer, friend, needed help in creating music for the performance. When I met Elena, we got along very well. I had nothing to invent. We simply understood what we had to do and went for the gusto. The art of the world, music, and cosmic worldview, actors are sure that this symbiosis of sounds can evoke unusual feelings and sensations in the audience, because idealism is not simply a philosophical concept. Indeed, it is more than that and is a way of perception of the world around us. I would say it is a performance that captivates the audience's attention and makes the spectator deeply rethink their life. This is a so-called immersion in contemplation. A Norwegian folk song together with Ukrainian melodies is a brilliant example of creative rethinking. Scandinavian melodies accompanied by violoncello are a rare phenomenon on the stage, says Anna. Combine these genres was nothing more than a spontaneous creative idea. It happened at a rehearsal. I started to sing a song. My friend asked me, "Lena, what is it?" "This is a Norwegian song," I said. "Do you speak Norwegian?" she asked. "Yes, I learned Scandinavian languages in college," I answered. "Please, tell me more about it," she continued. So we decided we needed to perform it on stage because I've never heard the performing of Norwegian songs with the accompaniment of a violoncello. The creative team invented their special concept, improvisation and coordinated actions of performance from its dramatic basis. But according to Anna, the main accent was placed on poetry. What about verses? Verses are always and they're there now. We added nothing to change them. The only thing we could do is to put the verses to music in order to make them deeper. We hope that the power of words has a great significance. In the opinion of Anastasia Malyevska, the best things in life are ideal ones. They are created with the help of thoughts, feelings, and ideas. When people listen to music or poetry, they feel it with their soul and it makes their life better. According to her, idealism is a driving force of everything that is errant. The idea to name the performance Idealism belongs to Elena Rebrik. Given such a title to a performance, she wanted to say that idealism not only originates from the world ideal or perfect, but it also means the opposite of essentialism. I look at the world, see interesting people, see how they look like and look into their eyes. Looking at this all, I get life experience and it inspires me to write poetry. Songs were written under the influence of losses. Human losses happened during the events of Euromaidan and during the war. Elena Rebrik suffered lots of trials and tragic moments. She unwillingly tells about her participation in the Revolution of Dignity. The female 100, friends killed on Maidan and people who are now perishing. So this performance is against war and also for people that are alive and well today. These events will remain in my heart and memory for a long time. Due to them, I acquired lots of friends and lost many of them as well. Yes, I am alive, but my friend is dead. When he was alive, he asked me to engage in music, perform in live concerts and continue writing music. So while I am alive and my path of life is still ahead, I consider it my duty to spend my time wisely. In this busy world, we hear poetic rhymes very rarely, and now, from the stage, you can hear the sounds of confident voice of a poet-actor yearning for profound thoughts of the heart.
потому что поэзия...
Today, poetry is not such a popular genre, so all the people came here not only to be entertained, but also to see something special. Today we will tell about the human soul.
Стены толще, чем смысл кричать, а душа, как авоська, набита камнями. Разбери тот скрипящий пол под ногами и начинай копать.
My creative work belongs in particular to Chamber 1. I would not say I'm a super popular poet, but I found my audience, and it is by no means small.
Маленькая, это точно.
Anastasia Milievska is a poetess from Kharkiv. In the estimation of critics, her verses are unique, bizarre, and deep. The range of her creative work is extremely diverse. Her poetry is philosophical, lyrical, mystical, and even comical, although it is not typical for Nastya. My verses are full of light and dark colors. I just wanted to give a wide palette to my poetic works. The topic of death runs like a red thread through Anastasia's poetry. Besides that, it teaches one how to value every minute of life. Her verses are full of belief in the existence of higher, overworldly feelings. The verses are full of dark colors. I raise the topic of death very often because it seems to me that death is very interesting and beautiful. In any case, none of us will be able to escape from it. Of course, it inspires me because it is something undiscovered, but also inevitable for every single one of us. After all, we're all mortal.
Мы сложные души, не мягкое тесто. Все равно мы все едем в одном направлении, к смерти. И не думайте, что вы приедете в лучшее место.
Recently, the verses of the young poetess Anastasia Milievska appeared in their printed version. She presented her first poetry collection entitled PSI in Georgia. It was great. I just came to the Caucasian house and said, "Hi folks, I'm from Ukraine and I would like to present my new book of poetry and share it with all of you. Do you think we can do that?" "Of course we can do that," they answered. The hall was filled with spectators. A good Armenian guitar player accompanied me. It was pretty cool. There were also middle-aged people in the audience. When they listened to my verses, they cried. The poet reads her poems on the stage to the sounds of music. It is more than a live show. It is rather a philosophical approach to life and reality. Participants of the performance are sure such a format is urgently needed because they succeeded in creating a unique atmosphere of unity with their audience. I think we will do everything possible so that each of them realizes something of their own. As I already said, people visit a gym to build their muscles, but our spectators attend my and Nastya Milievska's concert in order to pump out our positive emotions. Our performances bring out a diversity of emotions in the audience, from laughter to mental suffering, and from nostalgia to some completely forgotten personal memories. Recently, I started noticing that people wanted to settle down to a quiet life because they are tired of the rapid pace of living in the cosmopolitan rat race. Today, our performances are popular among audience because spectators want to relax and hear something important for them and find answers to their questions. I think it is very cool.
Если ты меня слышишь, сделай так, чтоб над нашей крышей этот страшный гул самолетов превратился в трель соловья.
Playgoers would likely call this song catharsis. It is a joint track of Elena Rebrik and Anna Hlukenka that makes the audience contemplate the meaning of life. I think that the main aim of socially conscious art is to make human life better. Yaroslava Kravchenko closely follows trends in the contemporary theater process. The theater group tries to give a new dimension to each project and get the maximum feedback possible from the spectators' hearts. We try to discover new names of playwrights or stage directors for the audience, or to give the pieces a new twist. Speaking about the Idealism performance, we may say that this is pleasant and high-quality poetry evening. In other words, today our wild theater, Diki Theater, is not so wild as it is relaxing. This performance is also very important. Although it lacks expression and special form, it offers high-quality content.
А розы растут вместо всего, что когда-либо было. того, кто